Out and about, we're having fun, meeting up with friends, but that can be a problem, especially when alcohol is involved. Katie Harris is here from Charles Boyk Law, and you say July is the deadliest month for drunk driving.
It is, yeah. And one of the reasons for that is, and for summer in general, is you get so many people are out on the road traveling. There's a lot more people on the road, a lot more people going to summer parties, pool parties, reunions, things where there tend to be a lot of alcohol involved, and then they get back out on the road. More people on the road means there's going to be more drunk drivers on the road. It's just a fact,
the statistics
unfortunately.
are there, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But talk about how many people exactly are, hurt or...
Sure, so to start on a good note, the fatalities are going down over the years, but unfortunately it's still a really big problem. In 2017, there were 300,000 people nationwide that were hurt by drunk drivers in crashes. To put that in a little bit of perspective, the city of Toledo metro area had 600,000 people last year, approximately. So we're talking, we're talking half of our local population every year that's getting hurt by drunk drivers.
Right, so it's still a very big issue, and we want people to know how to protect themselves, obviously, when they're out on the roads. What are some tips for that?
Sure. Well, it gets said a lot, but don't drink and drive.
It's as simple as that, right?
And another thing, too, is people really can be more cautious about not getting in a car with somebody that's been drinking. I think it's easy for us to be out with our friends, and it's towards the end of the evening or afternoon, and we say, okay, well, are you okay to drive? We're going to believe our friend when they say yes, but unfortunately, if they've been drinking, they don't really know. If we've been drinking, they're not able to make that judgment call, and if we've been drinking, we aren't either. So if there's any doubt, call a cab, get somebody you know hasn't been drinking, take a Lyft or an Uber. It's going to cost a little bit of money, sure.
But
exactly. It's a lot less cost in the long run than hurting somebody, than facing jail time, than facing a big civil lawsuit when you do go out and hurt somebody. And bottom line, when we're talking about saving lives, the cost is obviously worth it. Right?
Obviously that few bucks for that Lyft or that Uber taxi or whatever, going to be worth it in the long run. So what happens though if you are hurt or if you are impacted by a drunk driving crash? How can a lawyer help folks?
A lawyer can help in a lot of different ways. And the thing with when this happens to people, they're scared, they're hurt, they might be in the hospital recovering, there could be big hospital bills piling up, they might be off work and worried about all of that. The last thing they need to be doing alone at that point in time is dealing with this other driver's insurance company that's just going to try to settle the case as cheap and fast as they can so that it doesn't hurt their bottom line. So the great thing that we get to do is we get to step in and help those people through that process. We can handle the legal side of things. We deal with those insurance companies. We handle the investigation to make sure we get all the facts to back up their case. Sometimes this can look like getting the crash report, getting the dash cam video. Those can be really interesting because a lot of times they'll show the field sobriety tests. And let me tell you, there is a big difference between looking at a bunch of numbers and looking at that blood alcohol content and then being able to visibly see a person who can't walk a straight line and stand upright.
Yeah, that's evidence. It's kind of proof right there that you can see. And that's not something, if somebody is hurt and they're in the hospital, it's not like they have the means to call the police department or do those sorts of things to get that
and frankly, that's important for protecting their legal rights, but at the same time, they don't need to be focused on that. They need to be focused on getting their life back on track, figuring out how to pick up those pieces and move on, especially if there's been a death due to the accident. It's a huge tragedy, and there's all those little things they don't need to be worrying about. So I think that one of the best things about what we do is we get to come into work and fight for the little guy. These people who just are out on the road, they're doing nothing wrong, and then bam, something comes in out of nowhere and completely throws their life off track.
Yeah, it changes their lives, maybe, forever.
And it can, unfortunately, be forever. But to have a team standing behind you and alongside you, knowing that you don't have to do this alone, you don't have to fight the fight by yourself. That is one of the biggest things I want people to know, is that when they go through something like this, they have a whole team of caring people standing at the ready just to fight with them and for them and make sure that they're their rights are protected and they can focus on what they need to do and get better.
Wonderful. So you can, hopefully you won't find yourself in that position, but if you do, some good information there.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming in today.